This episode of the Dirty Trunk Podcast is brought to you by FNX Fit. AMG is big on growth and developing your business and knowledge base, but you can't focus on gaining wealth if you do not have good health. FNXFit.com has a wide array of natural health products that you can take on the go, including pre-workout, post-workout, natural energy, protein, and my favorite, the Super Green Blend. That's what I've been using lately, and I've been hogging it, honestly. But I've been trying to start juicing for a while now. But when you work a 9-to-5 job, it's hard to squeeze in all of your nutrients, and blending fruits and veggies is another job in of itself. But FNX has a product called the Rebalance Super Green that has natural, raw ingredients, antibiotics, and a 5-grass blend that delivers all the vitamins and nutrients your body needs to function properly. Head over to FNXFit.com and enter the code AMGFIT for 10% off of your order today. Help support our platform today by supporting our sponsor. This episode is also brought to you by Rise to Greatness Apparel. The Ascension brand's mission is to promote growth. Keep learning and keep pushing to be better than you were yesterday. The power of affirmations can be your biggest tool to reaching your goals. So let our merch be a symbol of your affirmations. From shirts to accessories, find Ascension Star and Dirty Trunk merch today on our website. You see me rocking the crisp Ascension Star cap every episode with the green underbill to remind us all to keep looking up to find our destiny. Or if that's not your style, choose between a range of our other products. Your destiny is written in the stars, not on the ground. Head over to AscensionDynasty.com/shop and enter the code AMG10 for 10% off your next order.
Your words have meaning. Make sure that you guys are focusing on building relationships, not tearing them down. Make sure that you're as true to yourself with your favorite person as you are with your least favorite. Work to improve the relationships with the least favorite people. At the end of the day, could just be a minor disagreement. People's perspectives make different situations. Just try to be understanding, especially during this period of time. Everyone needs that.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me. Not for the time that I've spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player. I was made to build.
It is me, your boy Marcus Morton, and always here with me is the Aaron Mack, the lovely Coco, and today we got Alyssa Ramirez.
All right, let's start over because we can't talk about her like she like a guest or something. Like,
okay, so
People are still getting used to me.
they used to you already. They was used to you. They was used to you after episode 2 when I brought you up in conversation.
Yeah, he does mention you in like a lot. Like it will be 3 episodes straight, and then probably a little break, and then back to like 3 episodes straight.
What you trying to say?
Alyssa.
What you trying to say?
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all.
It's cute.
Don't worry about it. we gonna breeze past it. First of all, you know, let's talk about Boss Foss right quick.
All right,
I got
some.
What you
got
got
one.
for Boss of Foss?
I got one, fam.
Wait, we didn't even introduce it.
I mean, we don't really have to.
I mean, so yeah, we can introduce him for all of our new listeners. Do you want to go ahead and introduce Boss of Foss?
My voice a little groggy, but I will. All right, y'all, we're gonna get into our Boss of Foss.
We got to find a
what
little
you got
jingle
for me
We got to
today?
find a little jingle for the Boss of Foss joint, like Boss of Foss. Like,
yeah.
You gotta get get Courtney and Alyssa on the mic, and they do the little background, little chorus. The choir girls.
Oh man, so I want to know: is it a Boss or Foss move for your apartment complex to start issuing out parking passes for the vehicles that are always parked at your apartment complex, and for one of the vehicles that didn't have a parking pass, for a tree to fall on during the storm.
Stop.
And instead of you getting the tree off, you leave it there. You leave the car there under the tree for 3 days. Is it a boss or a false move to punish your tenants with that kind of punishment? Is that cruel punishment or not? Somebody got to let me know. Is this a boss or a false move? I'll go ahead and pass the picture over to the other side of the table. Go ahead and look at that. Take a look gander at that. Take a look gander at that. The actual tape, the caution tape that they used was actually on the car.
Yeah, because that's not suspended. That's not it. Wow.
So and then on the other side, it was on somebody else's car who also didn't have a parking pass. Like they just had the tape to somebody's car, like and then they just left it there. So is it a boss or a false move for your I guess the property management company is responsible for this fuckery?
Professionally, that would be a false move. But personally, that's a fucking boss move. Because we told you to get a damn pass.
We was gonna tow this shit anyway, so
right, like,
bro, look. So the car is still sitting out there now. Y'all probably
They finally took down the tree.
They took the tree down. It's right there, like the little Elantra right here in the parking lot, right next to the dumpster.
Right.
They cut the tree up. The back window of the car is like completely shattered. There's wood like from the tree, like actual branches inside the car. There's sawdust everywhere on the car, inside the car, like next to the car, around the car. Like, yo, they just left it there.
They don't care about the car. They was like, man, we'll get another one.
And the car worked. It ain't like it's a car that's been sitting there. This dude is a dude that lived like a few doors down. He actually drive this thing on a regular basis.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. The morning of, I actually seen this shit on the road. Like I passed it on the way out of the apartment complex.
With the window busted?
No, before the tree fell on it.
Okay.
So it's a false move professionally. It's a false move on my apartment management company.
That's interesting.
They on some fuckery. Just left the tree on top of the car for like 3 days. Yeah, it's been bad. It's been 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting call to your boss.
It happened the day after the storm. Wait, no. What's the day? Tuesday. The storm was last Tuesday, so it's been 7 days. Yeah, it's about.
No, it was after that though.
Yeah, it was about 5 days.
No, it was after that.
It was after the storm. Yeah.
No, not like the day of.
No, it was like a few days after the storm. It was about 5 days.
Does it rain like every day?
Yeah, we had it was like a real pole storm, and the tree fell.
That's true.
No,
I want to say that it was Friday.
it was it was Friday. So 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Very, very interesting call to his job. I can't come in. I was like, why?
A tree fell on my car. I can't make this shit up. I'm gonna send you a picture. Hey, boss. Look, I know we on the company line right now. Let me get your phone number. I'm about to send you this right now. I can't get your phone number. All right, what's your email address? I'm gonna go ahead and email you this picture right quick so you can see that this is my car. I can't make it to work today. I think I'm gonna do work at though.
Stop. You got time.
Hope you got UPT fam.
Right.
Yeah, I block it out. It's all good. We ain't saying nothing bad about it. Damn, I said it again.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
Stop cussing on the show.
Yeah.
All right, I do my best. I need to get some new chairs, fam.
Yeah.
Like I literally like spun around, just turned a little bit and like felt my ass do a full shift. Like a full shift, like I felt like I was in like a rotating office chair just now.
Oh.
It's a wooden chair.
A stationary wooden chair.
This is a wooden chair.
That's what you get for getting free things.
Yeah, you can't. Beggars can't be choosers. It was free.
My dude did put like some school glue in the holes to try to put it back together, and a nail. Like it was like some nails in them. Herb came on the podcast last week. He was like, "Bro, look."
Oh no.
I'm gonna be honest.
He sat down in that joint. He was like, "Bro, I'm gonna be real with you, dog. You gonna have to give me something else. Man. I was like, what's wrong? He was like, bro, I don't feel safe.
I don't want to fall on the podcast.
He was like, I don't want to celebrate my first episode like that. Hey yo, but for real, shout out to my man Alberto and Alex for their new show, Herbsurdity. Catch that on the we'll post the links to that in the description.
Hey.
It's actually a new podcast on the Ascension Podcast Network, man. Like I'm excited about what they got going on. Like they hit the topics that, you know, that's, I guess you could say, more fun to talk about. The less aggressive, the less hit you
when the elephant is out of the room.
When the elephant is out of the room.
That's a good one.
I like that. Yeah, so go ahead and check them out. Hit the link in the description for Herbsurdity. All of their links and everything will be in the description below under this video. We're going to get back to this episode right quick, or just in general, because that's what we here for. We here to actually have a conversation about something. So recently, I have been introduced to this one movie that for some reason it flew under the radar on me. I have no recollection of this movie being ever made. I have no recollection of this movie being advertised. I have no recollection of this movie being talked about ever. But it is such a enlightening movie. And and though I'm gonna go ahead and I ain't about to sit here and talk about it like it's like some kind of self-help motivational kind of flick. Yeah. Like this movie won't, I'm pretty sure it won't made to be that way. But I wanted to talk about this strange comedy, real interesting movie by the name of 1,000 Words. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this movie was for a few things, like you know what? I'm gonna ask a question real quick, and then I'm gonna get into the reason why I wanted to talk about the movie. So I want to know, like, around the table, like, when y'all first seen that, like, how old were you and what were your first thoughts of the movie?
I was 19.
Yeah.
I was doing jury duty. You know, we was sitting there watching movies, and I think I cried at the end.
The irony of you watching
I don't know
movie doing jury duty.
At 19? You can get jury duty at 19?
As soon as you turn 18.
Really?
Yep. And you're most likely to get it as soon as you turn 18.
Yeah.
Never got it. Thank God. Whew.
Watch you get the letter as soon as it be like,
but he know everybody in his town, so it wouldn't.
Yeah. True.
Like family.
True. I got dismissed the first time I went. It was like anybody in the armed services. I was like, it's like, all right, you're dismissed. Yeah. Dope. They paid
I wanted
me
to do mine.
That and felons can't do jury duty.
I did debate. I want to witness things.
No.
That and, I mean, I like the idea of putting away somebody that needs to be put away.
If they need to be put away.
Yeah, but you gotta make it fair, like. Okay.
She dismissed already. Not fair. Not fair. Went in with the wrong mentality.
But it made me realize sometimes talking too much put you in a bad place, and you don't really realize it because you're too busy talking. And then views about other people, you know how other people see you.
Yeah.
Like, just sit back and watch instead of talk.
Right.
That's what it taught me.
Yeah. Marcus.
So I don't remember the age when I first saw it, but we did rewatch it. What I took from it was it was kind of multiple things. Like sometimes talk is cheap. The words that you speak have power in them. The words that you speak, words in general, they have power. They have meaning in them.
Yeah.
And just be careful what you say. Just like Coco said, your words can put you in a bad place. They could lift you up, but they can also hinder you in a way.
Right.
Yeah. So, the reason that I ended up having that movie on mind was because 8 years ago I posted about how profound it was to me, about just knowing, like, can you imagine only having 1,000 words for the rest of your life? Like, how many of those really go wasted? Like, a lot of us just say things to say something. Like, we don't think about, like, is this the next time that I'm going to talk to this person? Could they die the next day, next week? Am I going to die if I run out of words? If whatever, what am I going to go to my grave with? What sort of, help me out. Like, what sort of things do I have on my shoulders that I need to, like, no. Like, what sort of bereavements, grievances am I holding on to?
Yeah.
What sort of things do I need to make peace with? Who do I need to fix relationships with? Who do I need to, like, say a compliment to, knowing that they're struggling or what the case is? But words have power. Relationships have power. Like, connections are important.
Right.
And just, like, all of those combined together really hit me hard around that time.
But something else I noticed about the movie, that silence can
be powerful. It can say a lot.
Yeah, silence says a lot. Especially if you're silent and then you was mostly the one talking and saying all sorts of things. And then all of a sudden you silent. That shows what people really, like, take you as.
Right.
Like, oh, well, since you're not saying nothing, I assume, ABC.
Right. So when it came to that, I wanted to get back to you. I want you to utilize your star method. But we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down to the format of the podcast. So you have any practical notes that you implemented after you learned those lessons from that movie?
I mean, I was never the type to just talk, but I think that movie is one of the reasons I am the way I am now. Is when I say things, it usually is because it's needing to be said. Pretty often I just tend to stay in the background because I know that words have meaning, like, things can have a lasting impact, and I'm not just going to say things out of anger or whatever the case is.
So basically, when Grandma used to say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Me watching that movie for the first time, man, it just it hit me in some ways that, like, at first I was just kind of like, I didn't know how I felt about it, because like I get, like, real impatient when I'm watching movies, because, like, I don't watch things now at the age of 29 the same way I watched things when I was 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, had I seen that movie at the age of 20 years old, I probably wouldn't have took anything from it. But I was watching, and it was a comedy, and I was, like, mentally, I was just like, okay, it's just another comedy movie. Eddie Murphy, he don't ever make nothing that, had no real lasting meaning to it. Like, yeah, he had, like, I mean, all of his movies, like, don't get me wrong, like, his movies are just funny movies. Like, think about
Mr. Church was another good one.
I haven't seen that one, actually. That was one of his most recent ones, right?
It was still like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. I remember that. I kind of remember what that was. He was like a butler, a driver, or something like that.
I think that's on Netflix too. I think I saw it when I was.
I have never.
I don't know how to describe him.
I've never seen it, but yeah, I think I kind of vaguely remember the trailers for that. But you think about Eddie Murphy, you thinking like stuff like, because like the only thing I could possibly think about when I was watching that movie was like the Nutty Professor. Like I was just like comparing the style of comedy to something like that, or Meet Dave, just some stuff that's like, irrelevant funny. Right. But it's a funny movie, but I wasn't expecting to get that type of message from the end. And like, if anybody has seen the movie, like if you weren't paying attention to what was going on, you missed the message. Right. Like, it's real easy to miss the message, because it started off like the movie was like, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and like the whole first hour and a half was all comedy, and then like all of a sudden it just got serious. Like, okay, like it just hit him. Damn, hold up, he just realized, like, oh, like at the end of this tree is the end of my life. And the words that I've been saying up until this point, I didn't care about how it made anybody feel. I didn't care about I didn't care about all of the relationships I destroyed in the process. The only thing I cared about is my own personal gain. So I'm gonna say anything and everything that I need to say in order to push my own agenda.
Right.
So so when the point that really hit me, and like when he realized it, and his wife was talking to him, and I remember the conversation that he was having with his wife before finding out that the tree was losing leaves, when she was asking about the house.
Right.
And I apologize to anybody who haven't seen it, but god damn it, it was 8 years ago, so I ain't putting out no spoiler alert. No, we ain't putting out no fucking spoiler alert. It was 8 years ago. Right. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and pause this right now. Just go watch the movie, man. It's real powerful. Like, we'll be here when you come back. I promise you, we ain't going nowhere. All right. So he was arguing with his wife or whatever, and she said she wanted a house, and like she started talking like, wait, it wasn't deep enough that he just ran his mouth for a living. He ran his mouth so much that he didn't even listen at all. Like, my man was just like, she asked for what she asked for. She asked for a new house. Her complaints was safe. This house isn't safe. This is a bachelor pad. The room that our son is, we changing the diaper on the bar table. Like, it's not safe for a family. Like, this isn't where you start a family yet. And our son is sleeping in what was the room? A man cave? Studio. Yeah. Our son is sleeping in the studio, and at the end,
guest in his house.
At the end of all that, he says, well, we can paint the studio yellow.
With some ducks.
With some ducks or something. Like, bro, like, look, it made me think, like, dog, you got people out here who, let me take this off the table. You got people out here who all they doing is talking. You got 5 senses, and one of them, like the most important sense, has been pushed to the background so much that people don't even hear you anymore. Right. Like, this goes back to something that we were saying in a previous episode. Me and Marcus was talking about when people, like the social programming thing. Like, you walk past somebody, hey, how you doing? Y'all both going in opposite directions. Ain't nobody said nothing. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, we going in opposite directions. You ain't even got time to hear what I'm saying. Right. We're programmed to not listen to anything, but we are programmed to talk. We programmed to run our mouths, but we're not programmed to listen. In a world where communication is important, where being social is important. So when this movie and when I was watching it, I just started thinking about all of the things in recent days of people telling me about everything that they're gonna do, all the things that they want to do with their lives. They talking about it, but nobody is putting any action towards doing those things. Like, I know I need to be better at this. I know I need to be better at that. But I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna be better at it, but I ain't gonna actually do nothing. And I started thinking about just now when you said that that silence is also as powerful as talking. And it made me think back on y'all know I was in the Boy Scouts, right?
No.
No,
Yeah.
I was
Ironic.
Yeah, I served in the Boy Scouts Troop 100 for for a few years before until I was 16. I think I went in 5th grade. I was in the Boy Scouts from 5th grade all the way up until I was in like the 8th grade. Oh, wow. I made it to Life Scout, which is the rank before Eagle, the highest rank that you can get as a Boy Scout. And I went to this challenge called the Order of the Arrow. Now, the Order of the Arrow, at this point, I still have no idea what it is. But it was like a prestigious kind of thing that like only certain scouts had. Like when I got when I got the sash, like they give you a little white sash with like this red embroidered arrow on it, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'm like so obsessed with the arrow, right? Like now that I think about it, but they give you this sash, and like people will always say, man, that's cool, that's a cool sash or whatever, and they go right next to your mirror badge sash or whatever. You wear them on the same shoulder or whatnot. But the only thing I could think about was like all the people who talk about it, the loudest ones that was in the Boy Scouts, even back then as a kid, like I'm still noticing this stuff. Like I was telling myself like, yo, I can guarantee you I know who's going to be able to pass this test to get this. Now, let me tell you what the test was, bruh. So there's scout camp, and then there's the Order of the Arrow Challenge. Now this thing was like on some Survivor type stuff. We went to this camp for like 2 years, right? And it was called Camp T. Brady Saunders. Look it up, anybody who's listening to this. Camp T. Brady Saunders is a Boy Scout camp. I think it's like in Amelia County, somewhere up there, not even Northern Virginia, Midlothian area, somewhere up there. Can't remember exactly where it is, but we went to this summer camp up there 2 years straight. And like it was like mad fun. Like you out there just out in the woods, just chilling. You guys are like in cottages, tents, and all other kind of stuff. Like it's like a 4-H type of experience. Right. Unfortunately, it was all boys. I'm sorry, babe. It was kind of like one of them type of experiences. But during the wintertime, they do the Order of the Arrow Challenge. Boy, we went out there to this campsite in the wintertime, in the middle of winter. Now, mind you, They let soldiers sleep. I mean, soldiers. They let the scouts sleep out here, but there ain't no buildings out there to sleep in.
All right.
We did a bonfire. We get there. They drop us off. My scoutmaster dropped me off. I was the only one in the unit that did it, and we went there and he dropped us off. And we were at this bonfire. We had snacks and all this other kind of stuff. And they was just like, all right, this is how this is going to work. And like everything just got serious. Like it was all fun and games up until this point. Music, everything just went snap. 10 o'clock, everything was done. Like it was like, oh shit, what just happened? And we out there just shivering next to this big ass bonfire. They was like, look, for the next 3 days, you guys will be here putting in manual labor with no words. No words. So they had us out there, and it might have just been some shit where it was like we were just doing some manual labor that they just didn't feel like doing. It was like, all right, so we don't want to pay nobody to do this stuff right here, so we just gonna get them to do it. It might have been something like that, just on some double, what you call it, the
knocking out 2 birds, 1 stone.
There you go, knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone type stuff. What is that called? Like there's a practical term for that, right? No. All right, yeah. It's like knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. We just gonna leave it at that for right now because I don't really know what to call that. But they said like the idea of it was to do less talking, to figure out what's going on in your mind, to not to be in tune with your own voice and anybody else's voice, but the voice that's inside of you. And they said that once we start this, we're communicating without saying any words. And you're going to learn that the more you know yourself, the more you can connect spiritually, not mentally, but spiritually to the other people around you. And the more those days went on, that's exactly what happened. We connected with everybody else. Like there was like points where we were like chopping up wood and like some trees that they had knocked down. They was building like a new campsite, and there was like this ravine down at the bottom. We were like taking the trees and stuff and hauling them over to the ravine to throw the wood in. And like there were guys out there. They was like, we got like no words, just everybody just moving, body language, just. So and it made me realize like once you stop talking, things start to open up for you a little bit more. That was the first time I ever realized that.
Now I see why you get all quiet on occasion. Rare, but
She did not do me like that. She did not do me like that.
She kind of did. That's interesting because like growing up with siblings, like we have like this unspoken language that like, I mean, people can pick up on it, but like we don't really talk much. I don't really talk much, and like you could just do a couple of sign language, and they're like, all right, I got you. And it would be like the clearest instruction. There's no second guessing, and there's no, but did he mean this? It's like, no, you just,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that like coming back to the movie though, it kind of like what the lady said that you know, it made you think like the words that you say make them mean something. And I come back to like I had a thought a few weeks ago, like man, you know what though? I'm gonna put some of our I guess you could say our circle. I'm gonna put them on blast real quick.
All right.
I'm gonna put them on blast real quick, just a little bit, just a little bit. The amount of people that say things just for the sake of saying them. Like, how many dudes do we know that just come out the woodwork? Love you, bro.
Do you really?
How many females do we come by on a daily basis in our group that just use the word love, just willingly, sparingly, just let it fly?
Females, I don't know, but I know.
Bro, they do it to each other all the time. They do it to each other all the time. Like,
Okay.
What? Hold on.
Oh, your milkshake.
Oh, what?
I said, do y'all?
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Brought out Coco's crazy.
no words. Right, but yeah. I hear people all the time, man. They say they and I've never been the one to actually use those words like at all. Like if I say it,
I'm gonna mean it.
I mean that shit. And and 9 times out of 10, if I said it, I did a lot of soul searching before I said it. Like Alyssa can tell you, like, bro, like I was second guessing myself when I said it to her the first time. It took me how long?
Took like a good hour.
I'm not ashamed of it.
Well,
I'm not
like
ashamed of it.
somebody-
I set her down. I sat her down and have a conversation with her to tell her that, and it took me a whole hour to say it, just because I wasn't sure. Like I've never been the one to actually just be walking around and just saying it and just saying, yo, I love you, you know, we friends and I respect you. Like these aren't things that I just walk around saying just all willy-nilly. Like those aren't things that you say just to be saying them, but you have people who are programmed just to say those things and they don't even mean it. So what kind of reality are you creating in the environment around you when you say I love you and you don't mean it? What kind of environment are you creating around you when you say I respect you but you really don't like that person? What kind of environment are you creating around you when you say you're my friend but you talk behind this person's back? Like what is that leading up to at the end? Like what do you have at the end of those words is the question that I'm asking. Like I want everybody who's listening to this right now to challenge yourself. Think about your circle and the way you talk to the people around you, and think about if they would be there if you weren't talking to them the way you are. If you didn't fake your words and your vocabulary with a certain individual changed, how would they react to it? How would they respond?
Yeah.
Like I want everybody to understand, like the words that you say are just as important as the actions that you do, or they should be anyway. There is life and death in the power of the tongue.
Right.
Everything that you say holds a value on a spiritual level that you may or may not understand. So you shouldn't lie or shouldn't just say things just for the sake of saying them. If you don't have anything to say, let that be the case. Let that be the case. It ain't and it's I've gotten so good at listening to the words that people say, because the masses only communicate on one level. Let me say that again. The masses communicate on one level. Did y'all know there was 3 levels of communication?
No.
Help me out here, Lee. The first level of communication, and we've talked about this before. The first level in when you communicate is the things you say, and then the second level is the what is it, the body language and how you say it, and then the third level is what the other person understands you saying. That's right?
Yeah, I think so.
It might
Maybe
be,
like slight differences in wording.
Yeah. That's not like 100% how that worked. I had to like listen to the book again, but that's the gist of what I got from it. Just because you say something, or just because you express something a certain kind of way, doesn't mean that the other person is going to accept it the way that you said it.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to a girl yesterday, and she taught me the difference of like saying something. Like, she was like talking like how she would explain sign language to her daughter, and how she would get frustrated, like what in sign language is like. But she taught me like the inflection, like if you raise your eyebrows when you do it, it means that you're yelling at somebody. So the even though it is the same word, the attitude and the energy with it changes.
The tone of it.
The tone of it changes. Right.
That's I know a lot of times the tone of voice can add to just regular words.
Yeah.
Like if you say like a simple phrase, depending on the volume that you come off, could be like, all right, she a little agitated.
Right.
She trying to joke on me.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, for real. Like it's real. Like,
yeah, like
for real.
you have to be mindful of it, or like you could really rub your partner the wrong way.
Yeah.
So here's the problem that we have. Both of our significant others are the example of the strong silent type. And we are the vocal ones in our relationship. So we had to be careful with how we say things to them, because they don't use their mouths as much as they do. So they use their ears to scope out everything instead of their tongue. So it's something that I have an issue with Alyssa about, where she said something and I think that she made something else. So I think that something's wrong, and there's actually nothing going on. Like, she's just like, it's fine. I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, but you sure? Yeah. I'm all right.
I get that.
Yeah.
Or the exact vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be something that I'm interpreting as being a big deal with him, just when the way that he inflects his voice, or like he speaks a little bit louder, or like just sounds more intense, and I'm like, what? Why are you yelling at me? I don't understand. What do you want? Like, we've started fights over that before.
Yeah, yeah. Because I guess she's not used to people talking with so much passion. Maybe that's the thing. Like, people in Colorado, they just talk silent. They just like it's just a bunch of loud whispering.
Love you too.
Picture that.
It's like a giant midget.
Voices echo in the mountains. Voices echo in the mountains.
That's why you're whispering. Because if y'all get any louder, it's just constant echoing.
It's not that bad.
Oh man.
It just sounded like a good reason.
Oh
Man.
man. Oh,
Avalanche.
Right. Oh man. Oh right. I was actually about to say something, but I forgot.
I wanted to bring up the movie again.
Mhm.
There's one thing I noticed, like his mom. His mom. Always thought he was his dad. But until he got quiet and just sat there, towards the
talked
end,
it up with her. Well, not really.
she
talked it up,
realized it was her son instead of. So that really like got me. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was deep, man. That was deep. Yeah, because it was crazy. Like it's just like what was the dad's name? Jackie Raymond. Yeah, his name was Jack. Yeah. Well, his actual name was Raymond Jackie. Whatever his last name was. McCall. Yeah. And then like once she got through all of that, calling him Raymond or whatnot, like she started to remember that he actually came around. And I was like, yo, like that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like I think it was it's gonna sound a little weird, but
I was actually going somewhere with that, but I forgot. You good. I lost my thought again.
I think that was I mean, it's not really her sick because she wasn't really sick, but it was like I guess they portrayed it as maybe like in her
Alzheimer's.
last like defense against Alzheimer's, she put up like those barriers to get that out, and then when she got that out, it was like relieving to her. It just was like her last message that she needed to tell Raymond, you know, or Jack.
Sad.
Yeah. But yeah, when they like portrayed it, like he went to the when he went to the cemetery to see his dad's grave.
That's why I cried.
Kind of thought it was him for a minute though.
See, that's the vibe that they gave off, right?
They really did.
That's the vibe that they gave off, right? But what literally got me was like the entire time, like they was doing B-roll of all these leaves falling. He was saying what he needed to say. He got all of his last he fixed all of his issues that he like the things that he was doing for people, like the valet dude, the guy who worked for him or whatnot, like
Starbucks guy,
bruh, like the Starbucks guy, like right. He was like, I was just like wondering the entire time, like, yo, what is the last words gonna be? What is it gonna be? Like I was like, and I it got down to 3 words, and I was like, which 3 words is it going to be? And like I was thinking the entire time he was gonna tell somebody that he loved him, and like it got down to the last 3, and he was like looking at the gravestone, and I was like, and my man was like, with his last 3, he was just like, yo, I forgive you, and he was talking to his father's grave. I was like, bro, that's like the most powerful thing. Like it sent chills through me when I seen that, because it made me realize, like, yo, the amount of things that I've left unsaid. The amount of closure that I didn't give to some of my past relationships, and some of the things that has happened to me in the past, where a relationship ended and I didn't get closure. It made me think about those things, right? And it put me in a headspace with even the situations. Everybody know that I have issues with my mom, and we didn't necessarily had the best past in between mother and son, but it made me think about her. Like immediately I was just like, yo, like for real, like I don't really hold nothing against my mom, but it made me realize, like, yo, like you really didn't forgive her yet,
Right.
so you need to work on that. Like that seeing that movie taught me that, and that part, like it hit me, was like, how would you feel if you didn't have the opportunity to make that right?
Right.
How would you feel if you never got to talk to her? Yeah, you might be fine, like on the exterior, but that would really affect you. You wouldn't be okay if that happened. So you need to fix it, like immediately. And it's people out here like letting words be the end of relationships that could flourish into something great. You allowed some miscommunication to be the end of a relationship where you could have easily just talked it out, and it could have been that. Like, all right, yeah, we disagreed on this. Just let's fix it now and laugh about it tomorrow. Right. But we rather allow the words that we say to be the end of something, instead of trying to figure out what the other person is trying to communicate to us. What the other person is trying to communicate to us, we rather think about what we have going on in our own minds, in our own world, in our own situation. We don't even care about what happens, where the other person is coming from. We're not putting ourselves in the shoes of the people that we're coming across. We are just standing in our own circle, selfishly thinking about nothing but what we have in our own no square.
Not the no square.
Why would you compare it to that?
And I ain't trying to be funny when I say it, but
Right.
like, just think about the amount of times where you got into an argument with anybody over something that you thought that turned out to not really be the case. But when you decided to stop and actually listen to what the other person was saying, you realize, like, maybe I was tripping. Maybe I didn't need to react the way I did.
Yep.
I'm asking, like, how many times does it happen?
It happens a lot because people are mostly selfish. Just like you said, when we get into like our own headspace, we kind of block out everything else. Things get interpreted differently. Just like in the movie, when he was silent, everything he was trying to say or trying to communicate with people, it was getting all like mixed up. They were reading it the wrong way and all this other stuff. Also, I kind of like how, like at the close to the end, when he was making everything right with the people in his circle, it kind of speaks volumes because he was also trying to, you know, do the right things by, you know, giving to a church that you know he doesn't really go to. What else he do? He saving cat out of a tree, whatever. You know, thinking these good deeds will help him, but it just goes to show that you can do like small gestures or small things with the people you know closely, and it could impact them dramatically.
Right. But I can guarantee you, with the question that I asked, how often does it happen to you or anybody at this table? I can guarantee you, because the amount that I talk versus the amount that you talk, I can assure you that it happens to me a lot more.
Yeah.
And I could give you examples on top of examples where it does happen. Like, I'm being completely transparent. It happens all the time where I say something, somebody else says something to me, and I immediately jump to conclusions and say, okay, well, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Maybe okay.
Unhand me, sir.
And then I find out that the person won't even, they didn't even think about that. That wasn't even part of the conversation. That didn't even cross their mind or something like that. It don't even matter what it is, whether it was something that I said to them, something I asked to be done, or whatever the case is, and they just like, they didn't respond the way that I wanted them to respond, or they didn't answer in the amount of time that I needed them to answer. So I just automatically assume the worst.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I'm not perfect. I can't tell you that just recently I noticed it. I talked to Alyssa about it. We had the conversation, and I am working on it.
All right.
Now, another thing that I wanted to ask or bring to the table is the power and the strength needed to but give forgiveness. Because anybody can say the normal 3 words, the I love you, because that it's usually the words told to somebody that makes you feel good. But to say I forgive you after someone done hurt you, done put you through so much, it takes a lot more to say that.
A lot more.
Not really. I agree with you. I agree with you though, but what I want to challenge is that just like somebody can say something that they don't mean, like I love you, I respect you, you're my friend, etc.
Okay. But
they
actually
can also
mean
say
it
that.
though.
However, what you just said about having the strength to do it, that's true. And the amount of strength that it takes to really say
And mean it.
really say, like, I forgive you, but actually forgive someone, man. Like, it's tough. It is tough. Like, you can, like, a lot of people say, like, they'll have a situation with like a old friend, a parent, or something like that, and they'll say that, okay, I let this go, I closed this book, I ended that chapter, or I cut this person off, I blocked them, I did whatever, like I just don't talk to them, but I'm good over here, but they They got this person over here in this isolation where they just don't even reach out, don't contact, no nothing. Like, and I, once again, this is me. I've been there. I said that I forgave my mom. I said that, you know, I just don't want no contact with her because, you know, I forgave her, but I don't want to allow that situation back into my life. Right. But however, that wasn't necessarily the right attitude to have about it, because what I realized was that even though I forgave her, quote unquote, I cut that situation off, I let it go, there was no closure. Mm-hmm. So if you never get closure, how can you really find peace within yourself and forgive somebody if you never get the closure? If you never create the closure, if you never come to grips with the situation. Like, it's one thing to accept something when somebody's dead, but for someone to be alive and well and kicking, and you just say, well, you cut it off because you just don't want to deal with it no more, like, that's not forgiveness. You can't say that you forgave somebody if you never talked to them about the closure. Like, yeah, if they did, then you don't really have a choice. You got to cut it off. There's nothing you can do about it. But this person's alive, well, and kicking, and you didn't reach out to try to fix the situation at all. Like, and you're still holding animosity towards this person. That's the part that's really messing people up. Like, you holding grudges, you holding pain that you don't need to hold anymore. So what that does is, and you think it's insignificant, but what it actually does is it affects the relationships that you create from the time that pain was started to the time that you let it go.
Mm-hmm. It compounds. It brings itself into other relationships.
Yep.
And causes more issues there, causes projection, causes whatever else.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
So, what is everyone's definition of closure?
Coming to grips with what happened, learning the lessons that came with it, and moving forward.
If it's involving two parties, I want to know your side and your thoughts. I want to know why you felt the need to say or do something, you know, and I want you to know how it made me feel. Mm-hmm. And we come, to like, well, if you want to apologize and whatever, you know, and then I will, like, forgive you, or if I want to, you know. But for me, that's like closure. Like, everything needs to be on the table.
But what if they don't give you that why? Like,
then I probably will still be wondering why. But I'd be like, okay, well, if you don't want to, I just assume.
Okay. I was just like wondering, like, could you still get closure if they don't give you a why?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, so in
you've
terms
done
of
your part, so
yeah. I mean, like, at the end of the day, if people say their piece, then I think that in turn gives people their closure. And then there's others that they need to hear it, like, okay, let me hear what your side is. Let me hear the why.
Yeah.
Whereas others, they just get to the point that they were like, okay,
well, you're going to hear what I'm saying.
I've moved on in whatever situation. I've moved on to a new relationship. I've moved on to a new family. I've moved on to this, that, and the other.
Right.
Others find peace in other ways. They find, there's a lot of people that find just God, and they're like, okay, you know what? At the end of the day, that's my brother. That's my whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm going to forgive them. Yeah. Like, let them be.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Mark, like, what happens if you never get the answer to the question, to get the closure? However, like, I'm not the type of person to leave things hanging on the edge. Right. If I'm going to tell you, like, I'm the type of person, like, I'm not going to just allow you to tell me what happened on your side and not give my side of the story. Right. And I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to handle it, but I just can't be the one to just be like, all right, that's how you felt, and you were just able to do anything to affect me, but, you know, I can't figure out why you did that. Like, I want to know. I'm going to tell you exactly, like, what you did and how it made me feel. And I'm going to ask the question at that point, like, why did you feel the need to do that? At that point, if you say, well, I didn't even mean to, like, I didn't even know I was doing that. And I come to find out that, you know, when situations like that happen, most people don't even realize that they're doing it.
Right.
Like, I talked to my mom for the first time. When was that? That was like earlier this year. When I talked to when I reconnected with my mom, like early this year, like for like it's been 2
Late
years.
last year.
Was it late last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
December.
did.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was right before her birthday. Yeah, like that was for a whole year. I haven't talked to her but up until that point. And and when we were having the conversation, I just come to realize, like, and I thought she was lying. Like, I don't, like, she was just like, I don't know what I did to you. I don't know why you're acting like this. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you did this. Like, let me tell you exactly what you did. And what I realized was, like, she wasn't even trying to do that. Like, she was just being her, and we just didn't click. And instead of accepting that for what it was and just moving on and just being like, all right, cool. So we can't be clear here, but maybe if I, separated us a little bit and I get on my grown man status, stop being a little bitch, move out your fucking house, then maybe we'll have a better relationship. Instead of me thinking in that term, because that's how I should have been thinking. But instead of me thinking in that term, I was like, oh man, like I was just being, I'm like acting like a child. Like, okay, well she treated me this kind of way, and she did this and she did that. And I'm not by any point of this saying that she was right about how she treated me as a kid, but it just didn't work. I can't use that as an excuse as to because situations like this happen, and guys just they never trust another woman ever in their lives again when stuff like that happens. But I can't use that as an excuse to just be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go around just whoring women all the time. I'm just gonna get like random women in the bed every night. I'm just gonna call them bitches every single time. Whenever I'm mad at them, I'm just gonna have like 3 or 4 of them on rotation every single night. Like, I can't use my mom as an excuse for that. So what I ended up finding out was, like, I felt some type of way, but she was just being her. She didn't mean to do any of the things that she did. She didn't intentionally do the things that she did to hurt me. She was just being her. So the problem came up when I talked to her and I asked, like, you said you didn't do anything, but let me tell you how you made me feel. At that point, that creates my closure, because now I put a spotlight on what you did to me. Because I'm not going to allow you to, at this point, continue with your truth, because your truth isn't just your truth.
Right.
Your truth is somebody else's lie, or vice versa.
Just like that meme where it's 2 guys standing on each side of the number 6. One says it's a 6, the other says it's a 9. Which one is correct?
Right. Both of them. Because they're seeing it from their own perspective.
Right.
What's the saying? There's 3 sides to every story. Yours, mine, and the truth. We're going to announce this new segment real quick called The Closeout, where at the end of every episode, we make sure we end off with a practical tip for everybody who's listening to these episodes, right? Okay. For anybody who has anything to say, we go ahead and speak your piece, speak your truth, whatever the case is. Let's go ahead and close this out strong.
Okay. Like we did last week.
Like we should do every week. Yes.
I would just like to say, if you have any grief or any harsh feelings towards somebody, make your peace. It's not even irrelevant to keep that anger inside and just hold it in and just carry it around with you. Just let it go. For it's really that easy. Just let it go. That's what I'm saying. That's all I got. Make your peace, people.
I want to say, people. sit back and listen. Just take a day. Sit back and listen.
Yeah.
You will realize a lot. Just
Yeah.
take one day. Now, I ain't talking about just for an hour, 2 hours, the whole day.
Yeah.
Sit back and listen. You'll realize a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Your words have meaning. Make sure that you guys are focusing on building relationships, not tearing them down. Make sure that you're as true to yourself with your favorite person as you are with your least favorite. Work to improve the relationships with the least favorite people. At the end of the day, could just be a minor disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
People's perspectives make different situations. Just try to be understanding, especially during this period of time. Everyone needs somebody.
All right. I'm going to just say, like, try to step out of yourself. Get out of your own head and focus on the world around you, because just because something looks a certain way to you doesn't mean that it looks the same way to somebody else. Just because someone says something to you in a certain light, a certain tone, doesn't mean that they're directing it to you. Just because someone else is reacting to the situations around them and you come about just being the messenger doesn't mean that they're snapping on you. They're probably just fed up with the world around them, and you just happen to be in that category of what's going on in their environment. So take a step back, like Courtney said. Take this, just breathe, pay attention to what's going on around you. Stop, listen, use that sense for a change. I talk so much to the point where if any point where I'm quiet, Alyssa asks me what's wrong. So I know for a fact I talk too much, right? Pay attention to what's going on around you and focus on the people in your environment, and use your words carefully, man. That's life and death in the power of the tongue, and everything that you say has value. And also treat yourself with the same respect that you would treat anybody else. If you say the words I say all the time, you say the words I, Alyssa, finish the sentence, please.
No, you say it better.
You say the word I. Everything that comes after the word I is true. Treat everyone with respect, including yourself. That's all I got.
Well said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Dirty Trunk Podcast. Catch us at AscensionDynasty.com. Follow us and like and share our content on Facebook.
Leave us a review.
Leave us a review. Talk to us, people. We talking to y'all. Let's get some feedback out there.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Tell her how you really feel.
Yeah.
And tip the elephant.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Catch you next week.